Hey everybody, thanks for joining me today. Today we're talking about the top 10 free apps on your Firestick or Fire TV device of some kind. So today, this video is for new owners of a Firestick or somebody who's thinking about getting one and is curious about what comes on it. This isn't necessarily aimed at experienced cord cutters, people who know a ton of the ropes already. What I'm gonna go over today is not about hidden gems, stuff you've never heard of before. This is more about just simply the top 10 free apps on your Firestick. So I'm not talking about Netflix or Hulu or other things you have to pay a monthly fee to watch. This is going to be stuff that you can get for free right out of the gate, and it never stops being free. So let's dive in. So if by the end of this video I've helped you in some way, I'd appreciate a like on it. That would be very nice. It helps the channel quite a bit. That'd be great. Now, one more word of caution. I am not going to be talking today about side-loading apps. This is something that you come across a lot if you have, maybe researched your Firestick, and it's great, it's fun, and there's a lot of stuff that you can get, but it is definitely a power user move. Today is more about how to get started with your Firestick and the channels that you really should have right off the bat. So everything I'm talking about today is going to be available in the App Store on your Firestick. So first of all, let's talk about how to download an app on your Firestick. We're gonna go right over here to the apps section. You can search through the featured, the games specifically, or you can go by category. Obviously, a ton of stuff here for you to find if you just want to kind of browse. If you know there's something that you want to get, but you don't yet, and you can't find it here on this list, then that's fine. You just use the microphone button on your remote and search for it. Plex. There we go. All right, so Plex is actually going to be my #1 choice for a free app. And this is going to be useful if you have a digital library. I mean, it's useful for a lot of things, but especially if you have a digital library that you would like to watch via your streaming device, so you don't have to constantly put in, DVDs or external hard drives or what have you to watch things. You can use Plex to do that. So if I want to download it, I just hit the download button, there it goes. It's gonna pop up on my home screen. And this is what we've got. Okay, so it's got a lot of its own stuff. Like I said, it's really useful if you want to import your own stuff. Then you can go down, you'll find your media here. This is not a Plex video, so I'm not gonna go through the entire process of how to import your library, but suffice it to say, it's really cool. But even if you don't want to do that, they do have some of their own stuff for you to enjoy. It's not always going to be, the biggest titles that you've ever seen, but there's a lot of entertainment for you here to enjoy. So you can get even some live TV or some kind of Netflix style stuff for you to scroll through. All right, let's go to our #2 choice here. I'm gonna go down to my apps and channels, see all, and then we're looking for Crackle. So I'm gonna open up Crackle. This is another kind of, it's like a Netflix ripoff, but the thing about these free apps is they're often commercial supported. Obviously with Netflix, you pay 13 bucks a month and you don't have to watch any commercials. Here, it's free, but a lot of these free things are going to be commercial supported. So Crackle, as it says, it's free TV and movies. And on Crackle, you're gonna find a bunch of stuff, and it's got a little bit of a different way to scroll through. Whether you want TV shows or movies, or you want whatever they're playing at the moment, you can go here to watch now. So let's say you want to find a movie to watch, and it's going to have a lot of different categories for you to go through, and then you scroll through it a bit like Netflix. The difference between Netflix and a lot of these is you pay Netflix 13 bucks a month so you don't have to watch commercials, and you get a huge library. Here you get a pretty big library, but you do have to watch commercials. Okay, and so that's going to be a theme with a lot of these apps. So that's Crackle. You will find a bunch of good stuff here, at least I think so. Next up, we're gonna hit Pluto TV. Okay, Pluto TV is a bit like what I've already talked about, commercial supported stuff. It's free for you to watch. The difference here is that it's laid out as live TV. Okay, so now you're not going through and scrolling through on-demand stuff. You are finding stuff that is regimented a bit like your cable or satellite subscription. They give it to you by time, right? But on this, you're gonna find a bunch of channels. They've got, I don't know, 100 plus channels here. but the difference is that these aren't going to be the channels you're used to on cable or satellite. These are kind of knockoff channels a lot of times, but you will have news, movies, TV shows, all sorts of stuff that you can go scroll through. There's an entire channel devoted to Baywatch. An entire channel. So I'm just saying. Okay, let's move on to our next app. And to do that, I'm actually going to teach you a little trick. That home button on your remote, if you hold it down, that's going to bring up your apps right there. So you don't have to kind of scroll through the home page. You can just go straight to that apps page. Now, the next one I'm going to go to is Tubi. We're looking for Tubi. So Tubi is the kind of original Netflix ripoff. So this one is going to be a lot like Netflix, where you're scrolling through, different categories. Look, it's laid out just like Netflix. And so you can go through here and find stuff that, maybe you remember that isn't popular anymore, that, came out in the 90s or something. You're going to find a lot of stuff here that isn't on Netflix. In fact, there's a category not on Netflix. Okay, so if there's something that catches your eye, how long has it been since I've seen Apocalypto? That's fine. You can go through here. Again, commercial supported. So when you pull up a program and play that, you'll notice that every once in a while you're going to have to sit through a few commercials to get to your program. Okay, let's go to one more that's kind of a free movies and TV type deal. We're going to go to Filmrise. And this one is one of my favorites in this category of those kind of Netflix ripoffs, and I'll show you why. Within the Filmrise app, it's got a decent way for you to navigate and find stuff, whether you want TV or movies or whatever. But if you want to see something really cool, let's go scroll all the way down to the bottom here and give it a chance to pull up all of these channels. You'll see suggested channels, and that's going to give you all of these subgenres. So imagine your Netflix category, but it's kind of set up almost like its own app, right? So if you love horror stuff, then you're going to click on this, and within the app, it's going to bring in all of its horror stuff. And so then it will separate the horror category into all these, regular categories that you're used to seeing, the popular, the featured, the whatever. So honestly, if I had my druthers, I wish that they would put these suggested channels more toward the top, but here they are at the bottom. There's a lot of stuff there for you to find. All right, let's move away from the TV and movies categories and go on to news. Now, if you're giving up your cable subscription, your satellite subscription, maybe that's one of the things you're worried about giving up. How are you going to keep up with the news? Well, Firestick has actually made it really easy for you, and I love this app, quite frankly. It's just called News, right? This is a Firestick app. You go into this news app, and they are going to aggregate a bunch of stuff that you have already told them that you're interested in from a bunch of different apps. So all these down here, it says My Channels, or these other channels. These are all separate apps that you could download onto your Firestick, but they have aggregated them all here together so that you can scroll quickly and easily and find the stuff that you're interested in. So if you're just looking for newsy content, then you can tune in there. They do have a live channel on Newsy, or you can go through and find some on-demand stuff, quick stories that you want to just take a look at. So when it comes to news, this app is going to bring a lot of different sources in, and it's going to give you the ability to either turn on news in the background, kind of like you used to do, so you can just hear the stories as you're, doing chores or whatever, or you can go into the on-demand stuff and find the stories that you actually want to sit and watch for a few minutes to get informed. All right, let's move on to another app, again, kind of outside of the categories that we've been looking at already. We're gonna go to Twitch. Twitch is entertainment for gamers or people who enjoy the gaming community, even if you're not an actual player. So it's mostly games. There is other content on here as well, but essentially this is for all of the people who, they were younger siblings in their house and they had to watch their older siblings play video games all day, and they kind of grew to enjoy that, right? So now you can go and find games that you really enjoy, Fortnite, Minecraft, whatever. And when you find something that you want to watch, let's say I want to watch League of Legends, then there are all these channels, all these streamers in here who are either showing themselves playing the game, or sometimes it'll be professionals streaming a tournament, whatever the case may be. There's a bunch of stuff in here for you to find. And you can also find things like podcasts and amateur TV shows, that sort of thing. There's just, yeah, here it is, the Just Chatting channel. So there's a lot of random content for you to find if you enjoy kind of regular people doing real things, mostly video games. All right, the next ones that I want to talk about are kind of a twofer, Kanopy and Hoopla. They both do roughly the same thing, and that is they pull in content that's licensed by your local public library or your university library. And so it's going to depend, Hoopla or Kanopy depends on which app your local library has a contract with, if they do at all. Most of them do. Mine is with Kanopy, so if I open up Kanopy, it's going to give me the media that would normally be available through that public library here in the app. So you don't have to go down to the library anymore. It's pretty sweet. Again, this one is going to be like Netflix or like the others, where you scroll through, find different categories that you want to find content in, and then click on something to watch. The difference here being that in most cases you won't have to watch commercials, right? Because this is licensed through the library, it doesn't have to be commercial supported. Let me give you one more TV and movies app, okay, and it's going to be IMDbTV, okay? If you're familiar with the Internet Movie Database, they have their own channel. This is actually owned by Amazon, and here's the thing about it, and the reason I recommend this, and I probably should have put it higher, honestly, is that because it's owned by Amazon, a lot of this is going to be built into your Firestick interface, so you can find it there. So IMDbTV, again, free movies and TV. It's just like the others, it's commercial supported, but this one is going to have content that I think is maybe a little bit more bigger name, I suppose would be one way to put it. So I've been going through and doing a rewatch of Fringe, one of my favorite TV shows from about a decade ago. I love this show, and I'm willing to watch a few commercials because, hey, I get to watch it for free. Anyway, as you can see, there's a lot of stuff for you here to watch, and a lot of this is not necessarily the B-movie, lower tier stuff that you're used to. It's stuff that you saw on network TV and actually, enjoyed. All right, the last app that I'm going to point out today is Spotify. So obviously this is not TV and movies, this is music. Most of us use Spotify though. If you don't, you should, it's great. So once you log in, it's going to give you access to your library, your recently watched. You can find your own, your own saved playlists, or you can find stuff that they're going to recommend for you. The one caveat that I give to this app is that if you're watching it on a really cheap TV, your music isn't going to sound very good. So if you think that you're going to be using this quite a bit, maybe it's something that you're using while you're around the house, again, doing chores or whatever, or if you're going to be entertaining company and you want that music app, invest in a decent soundbar or a couple of speakers. On my TCL here, I use the Roku speakers, and it sounds really, really great. But anyway, so because of that, I use the Spotify app quite a bit. If you're using the regular cheap TV speakers on your budget TV, you may not use it quite as much, but you can be the judge of that. So there you have it, the top 10 free apps on Amazon Fire for your Fire Stick. Hope you enjoyed it. If you got something out of this, then go ahead and give this a like. And if you are an experienced cord cutter and you have other suggestions that you'd like to give, hit those comments below. Let me know what other apps you would think would go into this top 10 free category. Again, we're not necessarily talking about hidden gems, that sort of thing. This is stuff that you'd think, yeah, that's kind of a must-have if you've got a Fire Stick and it's available in the Fire Stick app store. So let me know, I'd be glad to hear from you. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you next time.